Summer is not just a break, it's an opportunity to shape how your children are living their lives. And so, moms, as you look ahead for the next few weeks, remember, summer is an important time for all of us. And there's only a handful of summers in your child-raising season. I know, stop! Don't say that, but it's true. And so we're not just getting through these days. We are, as Scripture says, for moms, we're building a home. We're shaping hearts, and we're creating memories and moments that matter. So ask God for wisdom. Hold your plans with open hands, because we know we need flexibility, and that's important. And then trust that God will meet you right in the middle, right when you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to savor a summer day. I pray that you will be surprised with some days, even some weeks, and some important times of refreshment. May the Lord bless you. Welcome to Raising Fatherless Kids, where we believe that
God is a father to the fatherless.
God is a father to the fatherless.
God is the father to the fatherless.
God is a father to the fatherless.
Welcome to Raising Fatherless Kids. I'm your host, Lori Apon. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day, but I know that days like this have potential to feel heavy and amplify the reality that you're doing a very important job alone. Not really alone, but physically alone. And so today, though, our focus turns to those end-of-year activities and then to summer. If school is not already out, it will be in a few weeks. And so no doubt, the race to the finish line is intense. But moms, you're going to make it. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of savoring your summer. And I know you may think, savor? That's not the word I would have used. I just want to survive. You may welcome the change in routine, but that change often brings with it questions like, how am I going to do summer? How am I going to work while my kids are at home? How am I going to keep a balance of letting my kids have fun where I'm also trying to balance the budget? And so there's so many things. How are my children going to spend their days? And anticipating summer has the potential to also trigger those past memories. Maybe your husband was here last summer. Or it can toss those darts of envy and jealousy that the enemy loves to throw our way. Everyone else is getting to go on a cruise. Everyone else is doing whatever it is, and everyone else is not doing those things. Some may be getting to do those things and celebrate with them. This is not forever. Your life isn't always going to look this way, but this summer that you have right in front of you is what we're talking about. And it's so important that we learn to be intentional with having those days where we are savoring the season. We're not trying to run through it or cover it up or bury it or avoid it. And so that's why I'm here today. I want to encourage you. Summer feels long when they're in the moment, but actually it's quite short. It's just about 6 weeks, 42 days. That's not a lot of time to create rest, to make those meaningful memories, and to provide a sense of togetherness in your own home. And I know, if we're honest, summer doesn't always feel peaceful, especially if you're new to this journey, if you just became a single mom. It is overwhelming, no doubt. And for those of us who have been doing this summer after summer, we have to work through those different expectations, shifting our routines and managing full days of caring for our children at home. And sometimes the stress level can intensify instead of slowing down to that lazy summer day that we used to experience or maybe we dream about. Summer is a time to be refreshed, but instead, it can be a season of sanctification, and we're being refined. So I want to encourage you, moms, that your preparation and your perspective will make a difference. Being a single parent with kids at home has changed summer from what it once was. The slower pace that you remember is not your reality. Young children tend to wake up early. They resist that nap time, and they bring energy that fills every part of the day. And moms, I know you're stretched. And yet one of the greatest gifts that we can give our kids is to teach them how to spend their summer days well, how to live with that peaceful rhythm of work, play, independence, and having those times where we are making memories. Mom, it's important to think ahead of how you can savor summer. I do believe it can happen. It may not be every day, all throughout, but overall, try to keep that in mind. Breathe deep, and we're going to savor summer. And it may look different for you than it would look like for another single mom. For you, mom, it is important to think ahead to how you can savor summer. Is it possible to enjoy a few weeks of rest? And if so, what does that look like? I believe it is not only possible, I believe it's crucial. Yes, solo parenting is an added weight with responsibilities that are not shared with another. But the reality is, this is what God has allowed for you in this season. It may not be forever, but for this summer, this is where you are. So let's consider a few things together. Because you are parenting alone, this is all the more reason for you to rest. You need it, and you must fight for it. Rest has to become part of the framework of your home. Proverbs 24:3 talks about moms building their home. By wisdom, a house is built, and by understanding, it is established. Summer doesn't just happen well on its own. It is built with wisdom, with understanding, and with intentionality. As a mom, especially, you are parenting alone, and so you must carefully plan, ask God for wisdom on how He wants you to manage your home in the next few months in the short season of summer. You are not just managing days, you are building an environment where rest is protected, where the rhythms will bring peace, where your children are guided and not just occupied, and that begins with preparation and perspective. Again, summer is short. It's just 6 weeks long, 42 days, and it can either drain you or refresh you. And you may think, I don't know how it's going to be possible. How can I not feel drained? This is where I am in life. How am I going to allow time of refreshment? And again, I really want to encourage you, Mom, that your perspective is a lot of the battle. And again, if you're in the deep, early months of grief, just hold on to your hat. Prayerfully, you have some people who can help you. Some community can help brainstorm what summer's going to look like for you. Sometimes moms in the beginning, your children are going to have a fun summer, making memories with a lot of other people besides yourself, and that is so hard. But they need that. They need to have the fun, and sometimes our children are able to have fun even in the thickest, darkest season of grief. And so that's just a reality, and you may need some friends in your inner circle to help you navigate how you can carry grief, how you can walk through the loss, how you can oversee your children, manage all the things. If you're having to work, how you're going to be able to balance it all. And sometimes an outside team of people that you trust can give you some ideas. They can brainstorm with you of what that would look like. For those of you who are a few summers in, it's helpful to have a time where you're brainstorming with your kids. Everyone is together and putting out there, what do they want to do this summer? What are their expectations? what is their greatest dream for the summer, and they may surprise you. Sometimes they'll give you an idea that you've never thought about. And so take some time, say, we're going to have a summer planning night, and ask them, what would make summer fun for you? Vacations might not be financially or physically possible, but ask, if you could go somewhere, where would it be? Don't rule out grandma's house. If you are working, perhaps you could plan a staycation. That was a new term created years ago where we're not going to go to Disney World. We're not going to spend a lot of money going somewhere, but we are going to put some margins around our schedule. Put some margins around these few days where we're going to plan a memorable activity. Maybe it's just once a month, you're going to give your family something to look forward to. Maybe you're going to go to the zoo. If you can't afford the zoo, which has become pretty costly, you're going to go to the park. It can be just going to the pool once a week. Simple activities like that. If you have friends and family who are asking how they can help, this is the time where you can say, you know what? We'd love to go to the aquarium, but we just can't fit that in our budget. Often there are people waiting to have an opportunity to bless in a tangible way. Camps and vacation Bible school are also great investments in summer. I loved the opportunity for mine to go to vacation Bible school. So many of the truths that are taught there, young children carry with them for life. And then a lot of churches have biblically sound camps. And there are times where there's others who would like to sponsor or scholarship your child. So again, this is a chance for you to step out in courage and to put the ask out there. And then moms, we have to guard the margins of our day, of our week, of even the month. Without intention, summer can quickly turn to chaos. And so we have to protect our margins. We have to decide ahead of time, what will we say yes to and what will we say no to? It's not about us. Sometimes you may want to incorporate service. There may be a time, not in the beginning, where your family would choose to go on a mission trip. I remember it was when there was I think it was a hurricane in Biloxi, Mississippi, and our church offered the opportunity to give Thanksgiving away. Now, we're talking about summer, but we chose to give that time to go and serve, and it was one of the best things that we did. And so as you're making a plan for the summer, now again, not if you're the one early in the stages of grief, but if you're a few years in, you may want to periodically look for an opportunity to serve with your children. Maybe there's a nursing home nearby and you could go and talk with those women. There's a lot to learn from the ladies there. They have a lot of life lessons and they have a lot of stories that might encourage you. Are there activities or skills that you want to pursue? Or maybe your children want to learn a skill. So check out what's available. And are there projects at home that you want to get done? I know we usually organize a closet or paint a room before the summer is over, and you think, oh, I can't do stuff like that now, not with all my little ones underfoot. And so again, you might be able to ask friends who have more discretionary time than you do, just would you help me paint a room? Or I need help organizing that closet or that room. And you would be amazed, I think, at the people who would be willing to step in. And then moms, you have to protect your sleep. Now don't laugh or cry at that statement, because I do understand that some of you may have trouble sleeping. A full night of sleep would be a gift and a real answer to prayer. But sometimes when we're single moms and there's not another adult in the home, our children go to bed and we tend to stay up later than normal. And so with the lack of routine, maybe you stay up with your kids later than normal, and then you pay a price for it the next day. And so this is where boundaries become a gift. They're not a burden. They protect you. So ask yourself, what are the rules, the guidelines, the boundaries that will bring peace into our home this summer? And then you may want to think through your non-negotiables. What do those include? Keeping summer simple. There's nothing wrong with popsicles and poolside dinners. I remember there was another single mom, a dear friend of mine. We arranged supper at the pool, and we had a bottle of shampoo so we could run the children through the shower there, and they were worn out and ready for bed when we got home at night. You also want to consider turning off the television and limiting social media. It's so easy to let it run throughout the day, and that's not healthy. Protect your bedtime rhythms as much as possible. Again, these boundaries help to preserve rest in a season that can easily wear you down. And develop those reasonable for you daily rhythms. Summer doesn't need to have a rigid schedule unless it needs to have a rigid schedule. You're working still and your children have to get to different things. But one of the beautiful things about summer is that sometimes things can relax a little bit. Keep in mind, our children are not meant to exist on autopilot. They just can't entertain themselves all day long. And so we have to teach them how to have independent play. And this is a skill that takes time to develop, but also a balance of work with their play. Everyone should contribute to the chores that need to be done in the home. And so teach them those responsibilities instead of just letting them have idle time all day long. And so you want to ask, what will our ordinary days, our summer days look like? Because it's not always just this big event. It's not always this big, splashy, several months ahead. It's become that over time. Man, I remember, I know, this showing my age, but summer used to be just play. Yes, I had to do my chores, but we weren't going on big fancy vacations. It's important, Mom, to give yourself something to look forward to. Summer shouldn't feel like something you have to survive. You want to include those moments of joy. You want to savor the time that you have. This can be simple. Try some new recipes, some new treats. Ask your children, what would you like me to make? Or what do you want to cook? What do you want to make? Plan a new activity to try as a family. Set aside time to play with your children. It may be a board game. Maybe you're going to get in the pool and swim with them. Boy, that was not a normal thing my children got to see. And yet, when I jumped into the water, all eyes on Mom, and they laughed and they loved that I was playing with them. And don't forget, moms, it's so important to eat meals together. That matters. Even if breakfast and lunch are, fix it yourself. Be intentional about having those times around the table. That's where connection happens. That's where you can really ask those questions, hear about their day, and use those teachable moments. And then teach this to your children, that one of the greatest gifts you can give them is not the constant entertainment, but training them to spend their days wisely. Don't let them use the word bored. Take that out of their vocabulary. Enjoy spending time alone, solitude. I think everyone needs some quiet time in their day, playing independently and then also coming together as a family. Have those boundaries that protect your margins and keep you from relying on screens as that handy babysitter that is opening the door for so many things. Summer is not just a break, it's an opportunity to shape how your children are living their lives. And so moms, as you look ahead for the next few weeks, remember, summer is an important time for all of us. And there's only a handful of summers in your child-raising season. I know, stop! Don't say that, but it's true. And so we're not just getting through these days. We are, as Scripture says, for moms, we're building a home. We're shaping hearts, and we're creating memories and moments that matter. So ask God for wisdom. Hold your plans with open hands, because We know we need flexibility, and that's important. And then trust that God will meet you right in the middle, right when you're thinking, there's no way I'm going to be able to savor a summer day. I pray that you will be surprised with some days, even some weeks, and some important times of refreshment. May the Lord bless you.